3, 2, 1, show love!
They say home is where the heart is. So to know where my heart has been first, picture 2 streets. One lonely set of stoplights marks where they meet. There are no fast food chains or big box stores on these corners. This place is filled with small town charm, as infectious as the chicken pox we all caught in kindergarten when people ask where I am from. I smile shyly and reply, you probably won't know it, and it's true, but my heart belonged to those dusty forest bike trails and street hockey showdowns, to cornfields and home-cooked meals and my elementary school playground. We played made-up games because, well, there was honestly nothing else to do. But we played those games until our shadows disappeared and the streetlights called us home. I called those streets home until I started to learn their secrets and began to keep some of my own. I don't know exactly how it happened, but at some point I fell in love for the first time. And though I'd like to say it was as perfect as a Hallmark Valentine, there are reasons beyond being 16 that this wasn't the case. For most, first love marks a coming of age, but for me, it was an inability to come out and tell anyone her name, so she and I made new homes inside our closets. Knowing small towns and words like gay fit together like puzzle pieces picked from different boxes, it was the first time I started to not feel at home in my own skin. My body became an expert at holding things in as I swallowed secrets like confessionals consume sins. The small town I grew up in morphed into a place I couldn't wait to escape from. So I went where any small town Canadian kids struggling with their identity would go. I packed my bags and I moved to the city of Toronto, and there I started a collection. I put a glass jar in my heart and I filled it with acceptance, examples of parades and stories and moments that all told me it was okay to be me. And eventually I cashed in that courage, counted out exactly enough bits of bravery to say, Mom, I'm gay. Oh, and happy Mother's Day. Again, not exactly how Hallmark drew it up. But my family's words of love were like cups of hot water pouring over the fear that had kept my mouth frozen closed. And though I'd like to say this is where the story ends, I guess the big city was never meant to be my home, because I had to return to my small town when I heard it wasn't how I had left it. Sadly, my parents' divorce came all but unexpected. It's a story for another day, but it's related to the way I have searched for home, and I can proudly say now that I have found it. I have found it in a place where people get on stage and share poems. And I don't mean like roses are red. I mean like people have bled their hearts out onto paper, put tears, secrets, and hopes in the mix, and then shared it with a room full of strangers. Are we crazy? Absolutely. But when my stories are exposed, belted out under bright lights and amplified through microphones, I can't help but think, this is my home. I don't understand this hunger for a book about kids killing kids when we bear witness to these scenes of violence on a daily basis. It's true. We like to think that it all happens at a distance, that the stories jumping from newspaper headlines aren't about the heads lined up for class in the school next door, that the horrors of weapons drawn by teens are just fiction spawned for screens, and the victims gone to sleep eternally could never be our own sons and daughters. See, it's into movie theaters we pour, or line up outside bookstores waiting for the chance to put pages in our hands that describe a world where young people are sent away to play a game of survival. But can you not see? Our own youth vie for their lives from behind computer screens, entering cyber arenas that often become battle scenes we fail to take notice as children clutch weapons in hand and click. Target found. Click. Insults abound. Click. Self-confidence drowns. Click. Next time no one's around. Click. 6 feet into the ground goes the body of one who lost the game. Unable to remain a target forever, they take their own lives before their enemies ever get the chance. Yet we praise the young girl heroine who clutches a bow and arrow in her hands, picking off young competitors with precision. How would we feel if the weapon she brandished was a mouse? Her arrows would still find their targets. So would it be any harder for us to cheer for her if she killed her peers with a weapon we could find inside our own house? Would it be too terrible to realize that our children slay each other with words daily, insults hurled like hand grenades, cursing each other to early graves, yet we say, names will never hurt you? I think maybe. We should adopt the practice of lighting up our sky like a television screen, showing the bright eyes and smiling teeth of every child that's ever been erased from this earth from bullying. Do you think then that we would pay more attention if faces replaced base statistics of victims, if we saw clearly each and every face that will never wake to see another sunrise? Boys and girls who think taking their own lives is better than being hunted in hallways and online, yet we sit satisfied reading our books and ignoring the cries of children stalked like prey. Harassed for being ugly, stupid, or gay, see the real world is less like a hunger game and more like pure cannibalism. Bullies feed off each other. As hate spreads like a cancer, entering through the eyes and ears, then making its way to the most delicate organ of them all, which is the heart. Bitter remarks tear into lining, taunts and jeers sear through tissue until eventually the heart dies, alongside self-confidence and the hope that things will ever change. See, there's not much difference between laughter and slaughter. So when LOLs become SOSs, will we hear the cries for help or be stuck in our own fantasy world plucked from a shelf where kids kill kids with weapons? Don't tell me that's any better or worse than kids who kill kids with words.